This whole story mainly starts with this video. Now, you may recognize this video as I put it up a while ago, back when I was part of a silly Splatoon competitive group which ran 3 dapples. For the non-Splatoon players watching this video, in short, dapples or dapple dualies are a weapon from Splatoon 2 and 3 which have a reputation, especially at the time this group existed, for not being very effective in competitive play, mainly due to its problems at range. Dappling up was fun while it lasted, however it did not last very long, as at the time of writing the script, the last message was 8 months ago. I haven't really talked to anyone from that group since, except one person I did keep in contact with, Emerald. Now this is much later, but New Year's Eve of 2023, going into 2024, when showing Emerald some of my first attempts at pixel art, they mentioned their pixel art, and how they only really make it for placeholders for their game. I offered to help, but apparently having someone work on the game and not be paid is unethical. But anyways, then Emerald said something that stood out to me. I make the game, get tons of money from it, get rich, and then you can help me with the next game I make while being actually compensated. Therefore, I believe if I make a game in Emerald's name and keep the money for myself, I will be thusly compensated and be allowed to help with the game. It's a flawless plan. Also, please remember I'm filming this chronologically, so it could very well not be a flawless plan. What do you need for a video game? Well, probably assets, animations, characters, settings, storylines, gameplay, programming language, sound effects, music, and a game engine. It seems like a lot of hard work. So let's just get started. In the first few weeks of my plan, I practiced more pixel art because I don't think I'm using any of my non-pixel art for this. And also due to the fact that this is a zero budget game, so it'd be hard to hire like a talented artist. I also started learning C# for Unity. Even though I do a computer science GCSE, we are taught in an ancient and horrific language called Visual Basic. It's bad. Very bad. So I got to work learning C#, and now I will always have a love for this great man. Now I know the basics of C# and have a whole folder of what I did to remind myself of certain things. It was around here when I thought this would be a fun thing to document and make a video on, so I began writing the script part 0 that you just watched. Also, when researching how I could actually put a game on Steam, I found out it costs a £100 deposit, which you can get back when the game makes £1,000. So hopefully this video and the game does decent, or else I'm losing 400 Fredda's worth of money. Then the Christmas holiday ended and I went back to school. So GCSEs seem to take up a lot of time. For some silly reason, I was not expecting to have literally no time or energy to make a video on a game while revising for some pretty important tests, so I didn't get much done in about 6 months. It's the summer holidays now though, so I can get started on this. What is this? Tutorials. First I did these tutorials to give my brain a refresher on the basics of C# and how I can use it in Unity. Then I rewatched this Game Maker's Toolkit video on Unity basics. Then I tried to remember how to make a button with the tutorial I watched earlier, but I'd forgotten, so I looked at these tutorials on how to use Text Mesh Pro to help me with the buttons, but it didn't really help me with the buttons, it just made me figure out how to use sprites and make my text all funky. And then I gave up on the button for a bit to find out how to implement music into the game, which I used a sound effects tutorial for. Then I went to the first button tutorial, then put that into my program, then kept putting the script into the game object bit in the thingy which makes it not work. Then I made the sound effects work with a random sound effect button thing that, like, for some reason now doesn't even work, even though it worked beforehand and I didn't change anything in the script. And then looked at one tutorial on how layers work. During all of this, I was also going through hell, that is, trying to figure out how making a font works, which was honestly so much more complex than I thought it was. I started by just searching up how to make a custom font, which took me to this website which told me to download this software if I wanted to convert my pixel art font I made earlier into a true type font file, which is the font file Unity needs. When I got the program, I realized I actually couldn't just slap a PNG onto it and convert it into a font file, and I actually needed to convert, now stay with me here, the PNG file into an SVG file into a TTF file. I had zero idea on how to do this, so I looked up FontForge tutorials, the main one of which was a kid who was like a pro at it all, but every time I tried to put my PNGs in, it would do something goofy. So I looked literally everywhere for an alternative. I thought I found one, but actually didn't because it had a character cap, and then I found this video.
And then once you've got that PNG ready, you're going to open this website.
Which sent me to the holy grail of custom pixel art fonts, Pixel Font Converter. Granted, it did take me a while to figure out all the spacing and stuff, but in the end, it was beautiful and mostly legible. I then decided to think of actual gameplay for my game, but I kinda needed the character to work around first. So I booted up Asprite and was like, what's cool? And like, witches are cool. So I drew a witch's hat, then tried to draw a head, but I didn't really have the pixels to work with, so I drew a bigger hat and a bigger head, which I was actually pretty proud of. Then I had to think of an item for this lady to have, which I'd base the gameplay around. And I was like, what's cool? But part 2. And lanterns are cool. So I gave her a lantern with a nice wee fire animation. I then cooked up some gameplay theories about like throwing and teleporting and momentum, which is probably better I explain later when I understand myself what I wrote. It was around here where I needed to start getting ready to go back to school for A-levels. But I was worried I'd do the same thing I did when I went back after the Christmas holidays. So I promised myself that every day when I came home from school, I would do at least an hour of this project per day. And so far it's been working out pretty good. So Emerald may have caved to my help. While this is what I was asking for, it was no longer what I was hoping for, as it maybe slightly damages the whole thing going on here. Anyways, here's the call. I'll explain my continuity plan afterwards. Also, part 2, so that just happened. Hello, Emerald. Do you remember the conversation we had at like New Year's Eve?
At New Year's Eve? No, I don't think so.
Half of it was about green bread, I think, and then the other half was about your game. And I showed you pixel art that I made, and then you were like, oh, I only make pixel art for temporary assets.
That's what happened.
I really wanted to help on the game, so I started this. That is everything I've edited so far, anyways. So, you see, when you say something like, actually accepting, it doesn't really work out for me. Outrageous.
I mean, I can withdraw the acceptation for now if that's more convenient.
So some of you might be thinking,
oh no, it is so over for this game. Glitchoid has not even started actually programming it yet.
But do not worry, as this video has now been in the works for literally 10 months. Oh my god. So I'm not stopping now, but I do have to make a new goal for myself to keep myself going now that it seems my old one's accidentally achieved. So, have you heard of the hit game Jet Set Radio? Jet Set Radio is at least in my top 10 favourite game franchises ever, and I love it very much. From the low poly style to the music transitions, and the music is why I've just shown you a montage. There's a good chunk of artists who do music for the game, but Mr. Naganuma's jams have to be my favourite. He's also just an epic guy. And you may know him from this song. Ain't nothing like a phone, gimme! But anyways, what I am thinking my new goal to be is if I can use this game and its earnings to give myself enough money to get at least one song by Hideki Naganuma into the next game I make. Anyways, back onto actually learning Unity. I've been slowly getting through this 11-hour tutorial, which I got 6.5 hours through, before a weird bug happened for seemingly no reason, where the visuals for specifically the sliced lettuce and burned meat patty just wouldn't show up, even though I defined the objects in the exact same way I defined everything else. But I had learned enough from that tutorial anyways, and started working on making a tic-tac-toe game, and I actually did manage to get it working. I actually programmed a mostly functional Unity game. Sure, there may be a couple errors with the bot, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that now, a year after I booted up C# for the first time, I've gotten to this level, and honestly, it makes me really happy. My New Year's resolution for 2025 is to get an actual demo of the game by the end of the year. I know this is going to be hard for me because A-level maths, computer science and moving image is no joke, but I should be fine if I start the grind early. Yeah, so it was very much not fine. I kind of just... I did keep trying to work at it, but computer science coursework started, and I made this cool table turf clone, wow, for computer science, wow, amazing. And then moving image coursework, like this A-level year, not just AS level, and just maths is, I don't know what the hell is going on there, but still planning to do game development, hoping to go there for uni. Just wanted to post this video anyways, because like I did spend a lot of time on it, I thought it was really cool. And maybe I'll post one in the future, but like just wanted to get out there. So thank you for watching this far, and yeah. Wait, do I take full damage?